All right, welcome everyone. I'm super excited to be here today. If you are new to my page, my name is Alisa Herriman and I am a realtor, and I am here to talk to you about financing with my friend Joe. And just to give you a little bit of background about how Joe and I know each other, our children actually attend the same school, and we've had lots of really great chats at basketball while our boys played together. And I said to Joe, I'm like, you just have so much incredible knowledge. I think it would be super valuable if we could like go live on Facebook and answer some really big questions around mortgages in 2024. So thank you so much, Joe, for taking the time to join us. And do you mind sharing just a little bit about yourself with everyone, just so that they know who you are, where you live, and what it is that you do?
Absolutely. And thank you very much for having me today, Alyssa. This is wonderful to be able to join you today and share some knowledge. And yes, as Alyssa mentioned, our kids do play basketball together. They go to the same school. I live in Aurelia, Ontario. Been here for about 14 years and been in the mortgage industry for about 14 years as well, financing real estate. It's been a great industry to be a part of. And that's what I do during the days and sometimes the nights and weekends. But I also, just for fun, I play in a band with my friends, and we're called Unlocked. We play around Simcoe County, and I'm also playing at church, doing guitar, bass, stuff like that. I love all things music, and that's a little bit about me, Alyssa. So thanks very much for having me today.
Awesome. Well, thank you for jumping on to share your expertise. So we have three questions because these are probably the most common questions I'm hearing in real estate around mortgages and concerns around finances. So the first question is for the new home buyers. So one of the concerns that I'm hearing is that it feels like it's impossible for new home buyers to actually get into the market. And as you and I both know, it is possible. So what advice or information do you think is important for somebody who wants to buy that home? What is it that they can do to become a home buyer, and how can you help them?
It's a great question, Alyssa. And yes, it does feel impossible these days. I would say a lot of my clients that do give me a call, they have this hesitation when they start things off because they don't want to get too excited because they're hearing things from their friends and family about how interest rates are so high. It's so hard to get into the market. So, my first recommendation is that they sit down and meet with their mortgage broker or mortgage specialist and just see where they are standing right now, what they can pre-qualify for, and what's out there. And from there, it might not be what they are thinking. Maybe it's not quite enough to get them into the market. So, uh, some other things I like to do when I chat with my clients are, can we look at your overtime? Can we look at your bonus income? Can we look at using part-time income to help boost that amount? And things like houses with a basement suite or second suite, if a buyer wants to consider things like that, that can also really boost that amount that the buyer can afford and help get them into a price range where they feel comfortable, getting into the market at. There's
Excellent.
also
That's great. Oh, sorry, go on,
No, there's also some other things if I can share them as well.
please.
Yeah, so if that's still not enough, then a lot of times first time buyers, I recommend that they get a temporary co-signer. Say if they can't get into the market on their own and they really want to do it on their own a lot of the times, right? Alyssa, a lot of the times buyers, they want to have their name only on the mortgage, their name only on the purchase agreement and title. But sometimes it makes sense to get a temporary co-signer for those 2 to 3 years, get a parent on with them or a grandparent to help them with boosting their income, just getting them into the market right now. And then 2 to 3 years down the line, we can actually remove them from the mortgage, the co-signer and the title without any penalty with the mortgage. And then that keeps them in the market and also gets them into the house that they wanted in the first place instead of settling maybe for something that they weren't really quite interested in. And lastly, if that still doesn't work, then we can also look at boosting down payment. So things like if you're going in with minimum down payment, 5% down, that may only restrict you to a certain amount of mortgage products. Whereas if you can get more down payment, maybe gifted from your family, grandparents might have some cash or parents might have some cash, maybe have a relative, we can look at increasing that down payment to 20%. And once you're in that 20% down payment space, the mortgage products really open up and there's way more options available. And a lot of lenders will actually be a little bit more lenient on helping you qualify for that specific type of home. So those are three different ways that I help clients get into the house that they want.
I think that's incredible for someone who's feeling like, oh, I just don't know if I can, to know even that there's these three different paths that they can take. My husband and I, we bought our first, I was 21. And I
Wow.
remember thinking, there's no way we're ever going to be able to buy a house. But it was such a smart decision because the moment you're a homeowner, that now you're in the market, and we've always been able to sell and upgrade the size of our house and use that equity, and we've been able to do that until we're in a home that we absolutely love. So it really is important to get into the market and to look at those ways. So the next question I have is concerns around interest rates and renewals. So interest rates are much different now than a few years ago, and there's obviously a lot of concern for families whose mortgages are up for renewal this year. What advice do you have to help them get ready for that renewal?
That's also a great question, Alyssa. And it's very timely too, because this year there's over $250 billion in mortgages coming for renewal. And next year we have about $350 billion in mortgages in Canada coming for renewal. It's a large amount of mortgage funds. And I suggest really get on it early with your mortgage advisor or mortgage broker. Give them a call before, even if your renewal hasn't even come in yet, just 6 to 9 months to see where you're going to be approximately when that renewal payment comes in. Because I just had a client actually 2 weeks ago give me a call. Their renewal on their mortgage, their payment is jumping by $1,000 per month. And they were caught blindsided by that because, they weren't really expecting that the mortgage payment would go up that considerably on their renewal. But we have to look at where rates have gone and where they have been. They were at 1.5%. Now rates are in the fives, some just a little bit below the fives. And that's a huge, massive jump for these clients. So what we're looking at doing for a lot of our clients is when we start looking at it early, we give them a scenario based on today's rates. What are their payments going to look like? And what can we do to help mitigate that? So some things we do is we look at first seeing if there's any other offers on the table from other lenders, also working with their lender to see if we can get a better offer on the table. Because quite often, if you sign that first renewal offer, it's the worst offer you will get in the whole process. So it's definitely worth that phone call to see what else is out there. And a lot of these new lenders will take on your client's business without any fees. They'll pay for the legal fees, they'll pay for all the costs to help transfer that mortgage over, and they usually will give a way better rate. And for these clients that called me 2 weeks ago, looks like I'm going to be able to save them about 1.5% on their renewal. So that is a huge disconnect that the renewal came in to what they could actually get on the open market. A couple more things. One other thing is that what we can do even is re-amortize that mortgage to a longer amortization. So say if they're at 15 years or 20 years right now on renewal, we can look at increasing that to the 25-year or even 30 years if they need to on a temporary basis to ride out the higher interest rates. And then after interest rates drop or income improves or the whole financial situation improves, we can look at then resetting the amortization and bringing it back closer to where they want to be. And I mean, the last option here, and we always talk about this too, is maybe that house is no longer serving them. Maybe it's a good chance for actually you to speak to those clients and see about selling and buying something at a lower price range, or possibly you can help them move into a property that is a similar price but has a basement apartment or second suite so they can help offset those higher renewal payments.
Oh, that's such great advice. And I think it's so important. We've always used a mortgage broker because of that power of negotiation on our behalf. And so I know sometimes it feels safer just to sign that renewal, but just do your investigating before you do, because I'm telling you, you can definitely save some money by doing that. And we've done the same thing. We purchased a property that has a rental income potential as well. And that definitely helped us significantly, especially as the rates changed. So my last question is, now there's going to be some of our viewers who are feeling like it is time for a move. And there are, maybe they've outgrown their home or they're ready for some change. I know I like to get into new homes to just experience that change. Maybe they're looking to downsize a little bit. So what would you advise around their mortgage before they get ready to list?
Okay. Yes, it's always fun to move and get into a new property. You get to decorate it again for the first time. You get to put the wall up, the art on the wall. The kids get their new rooms. I mean, it's such a fantastic experience, and it's lovely. I remember moving a few times as well, and it's so much fun, as much as it is a lot of work. And but before you start the process and meeting with a real estate agent, I always suggest call your mortgage broker or mortgage specialist first that got you that mortgage originally. One of the reasons why I like to suggest that is you don't want to waste your time, and you want to make sure you know where you're standing. Maybe that mortgage has some unique things about it that you would need to know about before you even meet with a real estate agent. So some things I like to suggest are meet with your mortgage broker, make sure your mortgage is portable, make sure that you can actually move it from one house to the other without any fees. Because right now, a lot of people still have those 1% to 2% interest rates and they haven't renewed yet. So to be able to port that mortgage to the new home, you'll be saving quite a lot of money instead of taking a new mortgage at today's interest rates. Another thing I like to suggest is when you're meeting with your broker and discussing those options is to see where you're standing today. Maybe you can borrow more money to help you get into that higher priced home. How is that going to work with your current mortgage at 1% or 2%? Do you have to take on a new mortgage? Or can you take that current mortgage and add on the new funds at today's rate and blend those two mortgages together to keep the rate you have for the existing money you have and the new rate and the new money to get a bigger mortgage, and also to see where you're at, what the payments will be. So you know what you're really getting into. And then that way you are armed with that information to help you make those decisions with your real estate agent when you move to that stage in the process. And then you, Alisa, could help them with getting them into a search, looking at some properties, seeing what's out there in that price range. And then that way you can actually get excited without thinking that maybe I will be disappointed. Maybe I can afford this house. Maybe I can't. Because I've seen that happen before where they meet with the realtor first, then they list the home, and then they come to me, and then I'm the bearer of bad news. And that's not a fun place to be, but definitely look at that. And the last thing, third item I want to chat about is make sure you get your home team put together as well. So after calling your mortgage broker, you want to make sure that you also connect with a good real estate agent, such as yourself, Alisa, a good home inspector, a lawyer, a home insurance person. Maybe you already have a home insurance person, and just have them ready to go. So you're ready to go at all the stages in the process, and you have your home team put together. So the whole process goes smoothly and you're all set, and you can just focus on decorating that new place and having a lot of fun with the move.
I love all of that because it does. It feels a little bit stressful to like list your property and try to buy another property. But if you have all of the information ready, you have a strategy, you've now got a game plan, your
Yes.
real estate agent's going to be able to better serve you. Everything's going to go more smoothly. So, Joe, thank you so much for your time and for your expertise. This has been really valuable. We hit on some pretty popular questions right now around mortgages. How is it that anyone who wants to have a private conversation with you, what is the best way for them to reach out to you?
Thank you, Alisa. And again, thank you for having me on today. Best way to reach me is usually by calling or texting. You can text me. That's a lot of the ways that clients get a hold of me today is they'll text me and ask me, hey, my name is so-and-so. I want to get a mortgage. And then we start the conversation from there. Also, I'm available on all social media platforms. You can look me up, Joe Bladdock, Mortgage Broker. I'm on YouTube, Facebook, X, TikTok, all those different platforms. You can actually check out some of the videos I post there as well. And I'll be happy to set an appointment with you, whether it's during the day, weekend, or night. Seems that mortgage brokers work a lot of the times on the weekends when you need to have that availability to you, because a lot of clients do work during the day and they want to make sure that their broker is available on the off hours.
I love that. And I just to kind of share a little bit, Joe came in and spoke to our son's class about mortgages and good debt and bad debt. And it was my son's absolute favorite guest speaker that he's ever had. He still talks about it, which is awesome. And my husband actually follows your videos as well to get market updates. So he knows what's going on as well. So I highly recommend you guys look up Joe, follow him. We'll put his contact information in the notes or as a comment on this live, so that if you do want to reach out right away, he's definitely available to support you. And again, thank you so much, Joe, for your time today and your expertise. And for everyone else, I hope this was super valuable, and we will talk to you guys soon.